I can assure you the president is very focused on jobs. As you know, it's his #1 priority. The president is not going to do anything that creates job loss in these other areas. Again, we have a thought-out process. This is something we've been talking about for a long period of time. We're comfortable that we're going to manage through this so that it is not detrimental to our growth projections.
All right, that was part of the defense this morning from the Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin on the plan for tariffs on steel and aluminum. The Republican Party has been divided over that plan. We bring in South Carolina Republican Congressman Mark Sanford to talk about it. What do you think of that argument, Congressman, that the president's all about jobs? I know I've seen at least one study, I'm not sure if there are any others, that this plan, if it goes into effect as it's been talked about, would lead to a job loss in the country of 146,000 jobs. So more jobs or fewer jobs if the president goes ahead with this?
Decidedly fewer jobs, a whole lot less in the way of capital investment, a lot of bad spinoffs. And we don't have to guess at this. This is something that our country has experimented with a couple times before. We did it in 1828 with the so-called tariffs of abominations, what they were called, deep impacts, with regard to the South and South Carolina, where I'm from. Well, it was advertised as it's going to protect jobs and protect industry. Did neither. About 100 years later, we did it again in 1930 with the Smoot-Hawley tariffs. World trade declined by about 2/3. Lost jobs, lost investment, lost capital, hurt industry. So, I mean, this is not something we need to guess at. This is something that has proven not to work in our own history in this country, and it's been proven something not to work in a whole host of other countries around the globe, whether in Venezuela or Gabon or other places that have tried high tariffs as a strategy for protecting local jobs.
Now, I wonder, even with Smoot-Hawley, I believe that was really, from what I've read about it anyway, had a lot to do with the 1928 election, the presidential election. And, this time around we have an election, not as big as that, but we have a special election next Tuesday in the state of Pennsylvania. So if you were representing Pennsylvania, would your outlook on this be different than somebody representing South Carolina? In other words, is this more of a local issue than...
No, it's not. What's interesting is that Charlie Dent, who is a member from Pennsylvania, spoke at the conference earlier this week. He stood up before all of us as Republicans gathered and said this is a bad idea. Hershey's, Pennsylvania, they make the chocolate kisses, and apparently they're wrapped in a little aluminum wrappers. And he says that adds to the cost. And so it was interesting to hear somebody from steel country talking about what a bad idea this would be and the way it would be a job killer in steel country.
That is actually interesting. Now, from where you sit, how big a deal do you think this is? And I guess what I'm really asking is, are we seeing a real shift in policy? And you've made historical references a number of times already to something we haven't seen in this country in a long time, which is kind of a protectionist outlook. To your point, years ago we did all the time. We had tariffs on everything. We still do, right. But as an economic policy, protectionism was something that was embraced. But post-World War II, it's been rejected big time.
Correct. So we have about 70 years, since World War II, the tide has run in the opposite direction. And there's certainly not perfect trade out there, and there's certainly some imbalances that we need to work at correcting.
Right.
But the bias has served our country very well.
But do you feel like we're going backwards to that, or is it just? So it is a big. I'm hearing. So it's a big time shift, and is that why Gary Cohn left? Do you think because this is a big time shift in focus for the administration, not just a one-off?
Yeah, this is a fight in terms of how we create jobs. There are a lot of different ways in which you quote can try and create jobs. This is a strategy that not only hadn't worked, it's been strongly resisted by not only the likes of Gary Cohn, but what's interesting is that the Prime Minister of Sweden was here yesterday, and he was saying it's not a good idea. Our allies to the north in Canada, who've been real long-standing allies, said this is a disastrous idea, and if you do it to us, we'll do it to you.
Do you have a strategy?
Said the same thing.
Do you Republicans have a strategy that's been talked about, Paul Ryan, on down in that conference you were talking about to kind of fight back against this? Against the White House? What are you guys going to do about it? If it's not allowed?
I mean, I think that we're reacting. So I wouldn't say you begin with a strategy because we're reacting to what came our way. But I think the first thing is to make it very clear as to where you stand on this issue.
Right. But would you be open to changing the law to give the power back to Congress to, to make
in other words. There's a bill that is going to be dropped here shortly. I've already gone on as a co-signer to the bill with Mark Meadows and the like. And basically it looks at Section 232, which I think in this instance is being abused. under the auspice of national security, we're erecting protectionist barriers that in fact undermine our national security. And what this bill does is says, no, this needs to go back into a legislative check and balance, which is what we see in most other areas of governance.
All right, we'll follow it. I assume the president would veto it, though, right? And then it's tough to get something like that through, don't you think?
We'll see, but beginning of the process.
All right, Congressman, good to talk to you. Good discussion.
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate it. We'll check back.